to watch for the moves. They're not hard to find. Strong arm tactics so loud, only themselves in mind. Every player has dreams of making Orca fame. They'll live on in the minds of those who get in their way. Orcas all say, don't come for me. Midners boots, they're so vain. As we set up the podcast webcam, the pod is here to talk Orca game. Orca King CK with delusions of fame. In this LRG world, he's the apex predator. Danny and Jules in tow, always ready to go. Now it's time for the show. They're the apex predators.
Hello and welcome to the Orca Pod, the apex predators of Australian Survivor LRG podcasting. From a slight blip last week where we covered Canberra Survivor season, 4? At least I think we covered it. I was pretty wasted for those that tuned in, but my takes were still good. It took me a long time to get to them, and it was a slow meandering pace as I tried to get there, but it existed. I got there. Anyway, we are now back onto the Uncharted Waters coverage as we close out this season. We close out this chapter of our lives, which I'll talk to it about in a moment. We will have one more show on the Uncharted Waters next week. I will catch up with Liz and talk about production. We would have Ma, but she's unavailable. I think she's getting married or something. So we will have Liz on and we will talk about production, and we will do the most important thing that we do on this podcast, and is crown a new Orca. We actually have 4 of the contenders for the Orca of the season on the Tea Party tonight, and surely we would expect nothing less from the Tea Party or the Orcas of the season. Week after that, we get right into our Canberra Season 4 coverage, live draft with myself, Danny and Jules. The OGs are back and covering Canberra 4. So join us in 2 weeks' time for that. Next week for the crowning of the Orca. But tonight, it is the most anticipated podcast about all of our coverages. It is the Tea Party. And I'm going to welcome, of course, the illustrious host of the Tea Party. And without further ado, let's bring her in. She needs no introduction, so I won't do one. But I will do a drum roll.
It's me. Hi. Great to hear that you've been approaching LRG podcasting with the professionalism that it deserves, CK.
Well, I showed up. That's something, right? Most people would have not attended as drunk as I was. And I watched it back the next day. It was slightly embarrassing. It was a bit of a wake-up call. But do you know what was also a wake-up call, Annabel? You and I were both heavily involved in the production of this season. And I don't know when that started. 4 years ago? When did we film this? I don't know, 3 years ago? How much has changed in our lives since we filmed this to when it's now been aired? You went on actual reality TV. You became a star on a real podcast. My fake podcast got like more listeners. Like things have changed for both of us. It's been incredible.
This is a very real podcast, CK. It's a real podcast. You turn up. Sometimes you're sober, sometimes you're not. But the important thing is we show up. Now, have I watched this season? No. Have I watched several episodes? Yes. Will I watch the rest of the season? Possibly. I feel like it was good one. But what's important is that I was there for the entire thing. I was extremely emotionally invested in the production of this. Frankly, I'm still a little bit scarred from it. So I may need my memory refreshing at points, but I feel like my perception of what happened has potentially warped over the years. And because I haven't revisited about 80% of the season, I can't actually fact check any of my beliefs. But but I'm fairly sure that Jules and Danny were the villains of the season. Greg, Toxic Greg, actually the unsung hero. And Ash, the evil mastermind. And I'm just excited we have all of them here today to set the record straight.
And you were there live, so you have this memory. And your memory is better than the film product. Because the film product is edited. It's edited to put up a particular story. You were there in the real time. The only edit you have is your brain, which saw it all unfold. You have the full picture. I will let you know that in the coverage of the season, just so you're prepared for tonight's show, there has been quite the feud in the comments between the Scorpio Dragons, Scorpio Queens, and the aforementioned Greg. They have been teeing off at each other in the comments. This is a chance for them all to finally air their grievances live on the hot tea party. So look forward to that. We've also determined that the Orca of the season can only be a person who won a weekly Orca award, a Brommy. And so Jules, Danny, Greg, Ash, and also the amazing Hannah. Fuck, Hannah was incredible. Let's go back and watch Hannah's episode.
Oh, Hannah, I'm sorry. It's Hannah. The Orca of the season is Hannah. There's not even any competition for that.
And that also got a nomination. So I will pass over to you, Annabel, so you can bring in the guests for the tea party this evening. I'll leave you all in Annabel's illustrious.
All right. Hello, everybody. It's me. I'm here. And some people suggest that imperfect memory is a thing. But I would suggest that that's only an issue for imperfect people. And I'm famously perfect. So I would like to welcome in, I think we need to welcome in some of the Orca originals. Why am I moving around on this? I don't know. But let's bring in a Scorpio diva. Let's bring in Jules, because gay rights. Come on in, Jules.
Absolutely gay rights. Hello, everyone. I would like to welcome you all to the launch of my campaign for Orca of the season. Fuck everyone else. It's me. I'm the Orca. I am the most out of anyone.
You're trying hard, but even that can't bridge the energy that Hannah gave us in the 30
I got
seconds
3
that we had
Brommies.
her for.
3 of them. She only got 1 because she was only in 2 episodes.
But her impact. You know who else had a huge impact?
It was pretty Orca, I can't lie.
It was immaculate. Let's bring in Danny. Danny, come on in.
Hello, darlings.
Hi, diva.
Hello. Oh, can we just keep it like this? This is good for me.
Yeah, this is fine.
No. We've got to bring in my fave. Definitely Robbed King. Let's bring in Greg. Gregalicious, are you here?
Who's he?
I don't have to be. If I'm not wanted, I don't have to be here.
Justice for Greg. Greg, you're incredibly wanted. This is actually your redemption podcast.
Oh,
I don't have access to the mute button, but I will be using it liberally if anyone
the mute button that you had on during all of our confessionals?
Yes, the same mute button that I exercised liberally whenever you were on camera. Yeah, side note, everybody, I filmed most of Greg's confessionals and I did not have the sound on for any of them. So Greg actually had to go back post-scene and do it all again. I'm the worst. As CK says, I showed up. What more do you want from me? Now, I don't think we've got Ash here yet, do we? So
she said she'll be here as soon as she can.
Cool. That's stunning because we can really get things kicked off. So for me, I was really looking after the starting tribe for Jules and Danny. Jules was off to an early Orca start, rubbing people the wrong way, not really being in control, but fortunately she was the start of what became a beautiful relationship with Danny, who did have quite a bit more influence. Alas, we get to the tribe swap and perfect Reed Greggs arrives. I really felt like things fell apart for me here because the three of you just couldn't get together. You all had a common enemy. He will be arriving on this podcast soon. But the mist. Greg, from your perspective, what was not working for you? Why were you not open to working with the girly pops?
I was very open. I just wasn't presented with a.
Famously, you said multiple times, "I'm not open." I do remember that bit. I do remember you not entertaining the strategy.
Here's the way that I saw it. Tell me if I completely misread the situation. I was in the numbers, so I didn't have a reason to defect from that or give anyone from my original tribe a reason to turn on me. Whereas you two had nothing to lose and only things to gain by trying to work with me. So I didn't see a reason why I would come to you with any kind of throwing anyone under the bus or anything like that. And yeah.
I think the issue that we had was that you didn't even entertain the idea. Like everyone else on that tribe was in the same position as you were. Like when we swapped, I'm talking Nieta, Evan, and Aaron were all in the same position as you were. You guys were in the numbers. But the three of them at least humored us and pretended like, hey, we don't know what's going on over there. If we go to tribal, we don't know what's going to happen. They made it seem like they were interested. You flat out said, hey, if we go to tribal, we're going to vote one of you out. So from our perspective, who are we going to target if we're going to target someone? The guy that's telling us he's not going to vote with us.
See, this is where I'm kind of...
Go, Annabel.
This is where I am kind of Team Greg. I'm watching these episodes and I'm like, Greg is clearly giving off some kind of energy because everyone is finding Greg sketchy. Greg's own alliance is like, Greg, I think he might be the evil mastermind. No one is keeping it more real than Greg. Greg is like, these are my allies. I'm ride or die with them. I'm not here for you bitches. What's in it for me? Everybody else is lying to your face. Ash, straight up, queen that she is, fakest bitch that we know, has totally smoked Greg. And I just feel like Greg was keeping it real.
But that's in that situation, right? So you think you're as tight as you are with Mars and Ash, who are over the other side. You end up spending more time with us, and every step of the way there was just nothing. Knowing that they're also depleting, they've been together longer. I don't fathom how you thought you would get back to them and think that you would be more important to them than Christelle.
Well, firstly, I was just focused. Are we talking pre-merge or post-merge?
Pre-merge.
Yeah, so post-swap, pre-merge.
Well, I saved them with the extra vote, so I thought that would probably help, or show some loyalty. And otherwise, we could have gone to tribal at any time. I wasn't necessarily thinking only about, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was mostly worried. I was worried about giving you information that you could then take to Aaron or anyone else to get them to turn on me.
But they weren't giving us information either. They were just like,
I did that.
They were just like, oh yeah, well, if the numbers are there, we'll vote with you. They were being pretty fake with us as well, but they were at least giving us something. You gave us nothing.
Well, what's your point?
My point is of course we were going to come for you. Who else were we going to come for? We have to target somebody.
You gave us the chance then. By that point, I think by being such a fork in the road for us as not an option, if we had gone to tribal, that may have been in your downfall because we'd managed to form some sort of relationship with the others. Jules has an idol, right, which we could have played to split on either of us. Even if you had split, you wouldn't have known which way the numbers were going. We had Aaron. He was coming with us at merge. If we had gone and we're playing the if game, by you being so stuck in the mud about it, it could have been your downfall. It ends up being your downfall.
Look, it's 2 against 1, which is why I'm here for Team Greg tonight. I
understand your position. I totally understand. Why
didn't you? I don't know why didn't you? Were you just like, he's mean, we don't like him, no interest? I would rather lose the game than work with him.
when
Or
the
even
first,
try-
it was hard to come back from the first very conversation that we had.
I don't remember that, and it wasn't
And
on the show, so I can't.
I know, but it's
We
vivid in
remember
my
it.
head. It's vivid in both of our heads, this conversation. We're just, the first time we sat down to chat, we were talking about potentials, you know, what we're thinking. You're like, I didn't need to have this conversation because if we go to Triple Council, one of the two of you will be the first to go.
That
Was the first conversation we had. How do you come back from that?
Conversation.
But
I don't remember
look,
that.
Greg was the only one not being a fake bitch to the two of you. I was there. I filmed the confessions. Ain't no way Aaron is flipping with you guys. If you go to, I don't think he's flipping with you guys.
I disagree.
I
disagree.
I'm there being like, Aaron, have you thought? In fairness, Aaron did really have it out for Greg. I do really want to like, Brendan, your question is great, and I'd like to get there in a minute. But I want to kind of like, I've been thinking about this. What is it about Greg? And Greg, I wonder if you've done some self-reflecting on this. Yeah. No, I spoke to you. I sent you a message about this a while ago because I am loyal. I'm a very loyal person, but it doesn't matter what game I play, in what scenario, there is something about me that says, sketchy, threatening bitch, let's cut her. And it doesn't matter if I'm speaking facts. They're like, no, she's full of shit. There's just something about me that is giving an aura. I don't know what it is. And I think, Greg, that you are cursed with this same aura. Because even on your starting tribe pre-swap, I don't think it's anything you're doing wrong, babes. Like, why is Aaron immediately like, yeah, Greg, head of the snake, when to all of us watching, it's quite clear that it's Ash and Mars. So having had 4 years to reflect on it, Greg, what do you think's going on here?
Anti-Semitism.
T?
No, I'm kidding.
I'm like, don't.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I haven't got that. It's a small sample size. I would say it's like you're kind of describing an orca, I would say, a natural orca. And I think I remember it was during Canberra 2, the season that you did this podcast for Canberra, Annabel, when there was a guy called James.
I remember Wolfie, yeah.
Yes. And I remember, I think it was CK talking about how, like, in these nerdy LRGs, like sometimes you get these people who, in most life context, it's you know, I'm not the alpha, I'm not the loudest person in the room, but in this context, I remember getting there and I was just like, okay, I'm like, people are looking to me to tell them what to do, or at least in my head, that's what I was telling myself. But actually, I do have another answer, and I actually don't want to say it.
Okay, all right. You don't need to say anything. You don't need to say anything you don't feel comfortable with. I actually do think that in this intensely nerdy environment, you were giving the broiest bro energy there. I think that's I think you were giving the most bro energy, which I'm sure is not a situation you've ever been in your life before now. But somehow in this weird scenario, Greg was the footy bro of Uncharted Waters. Let's bring on in Ash, because Ash was there from the start. Mastermind Ash, who really was the toxic alpha bro of this whole season, is there. The true puppet master hiding behind poor, sweet, honest Greg, who's just telling everyone how it is. Ash.
Yeah. He was doing it too much. I couldn't deal with that.
Was saving you with an extra vote was too much? It was too much for you? You couldn't handle it?
Greg, here's the thing.
That was so day 2.
You're like when you played the game, it was very much, I could see you were rubbing people the wrong way. And while that was like a great shield to have, it wasn't like, I just think it was hard because I wanted to be aligned with everyone. I wanted everyone to kind of be a part of the cult, and then kind of like I get to decide what happens. And you were very honest, very open, but also you were running your own race. And I mean, props for it, but I didn't want that in my atmosphere.
You think I was trying to get you out?
No, but I just think that you had other options that weren't me, and that's a threat to me.
But I chose you, as did everyone else.
Yeah, but then like if I keep you over like Evan, let's say, who I've made like a tight 3 with Christelle with, and like, you know, I've got more options if I keep them around as opposed to keeping you around, because I can still keep Mars and Christelle as a tight like thing while also having Evan and Christelle as a tight thing, and then having Danny and Jules as another option potentially. But if you're not giving Danny and Jules the vibe that you want to work with them, I can't play the middle between those 3 kind of like setups.
Juicy.
You should have just
What
gone off to smoke weed with Tara the night before, and we could have got on the same page.
Greg, that is not the reason we weren't on the same page. That had nothing to do with that.
I don't think we spoke after in the merge at all.
I mean, there's your issue.
No, but
That's
I'm
a
sa-
weed
I'm-
my
I
weed
wanted to-
smoking.
What?
That says more about your social game than my weed smoking. Like, there
I
was
don't
2
think
days
so.
where like we were together the night before merge, and like I smoked, yes. But then the night after, or the day after, sorry, that morning, like you had that whole morning to talk to me. You didn't get voted out until like 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. and we were up at like 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning. So like, with all due respect, like, come and talk to
There
me
was a
then.
big chunk of time between us waking up and that first tribal where Aaron was voted out.
Back on my justice for Greg bandwagon here. Someone has to be, because Greg's not saving himself. I feel like Greg was in this uncomfortable position between actually being undyingly loyal to Ash and simultaneously having the perception that he's being super schemy and he's this alpha bro, but actually being quite introverted and not as extroverted and open to talking to lots of new people at once as some of the other people were. And I feel like that gap between perception and reality was causing like a not great situation for Greg, where Ash wasn't realizing that Greg was probably one of her most loyal soldiers. And there was a lot of hot competition for most loyal Ash soldier. And then Jules and Danny perceiving Greg as their biggest threat to getting closer to Ash, when in fact Ash was the axis of evil that you should have all been uniting against in the first place. And that is my thesis.
I'll push back on that a little bit in the sense that
Okay.
we weren't concerned about getting close with Ash. We were concerned about surviving any way we could. And Ash was someone that was extending an olive branch. Now, it was completely fake. And I was well aware of that. I think at one point I did a confessional where I was like, Ash has just made a final 3 deal with me and Danny. I don't believe it for a second, but she's the only one who's even made an offer. So we kind of have to vote with her. So yeah, from everyone else at Tortuga, yes, they were all trying to be Ash's best friend. This was RuPaul's best friend race. Danny and I were just in survival mode, whatever we could do to get through another vote.
And Greg, and then because of the disengagement between Ash and Greg, it then became a common enemy that we could unite against. That was a way for Ash to placate us while she figured out a different option, because she knew that was something we'd be like, fuck yeah, absolutely, let's do this, because she was just blindsided us with Aaron going home at merge, which I mean, blindsided, but we were still there, so happy, like whatever, like we didn't love it, but okay, sure. And then there was another comment, which was like, just, sit tight, I'll get to you. Let's
and there was also a certain amount of fear around our idol, and obviously we were going to vote for Greg, so why not vote for him as well, so that if it does get played, at least we're not idling her out or idling someone else out. In the end, we kind of, even though the idol barely negated any votes, kind of like we did idle you out, because it was the fear of it, I think, that ultimately led to you being voted for.
Yeah, Mietta should have saved me.
What?
Mietta should have saved me, but that's
she should have. Yes.
Yeah, we would have won the game.
But then this is also, like, I think, like a key going back to that, like the social aspect of your game. Like, I don't think you had built enough trust with anybody for them to want to play an idol for you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so it's easy to be smug when you're on the bottom and you make it through with your idols. But I want to bring up this question from Brendan. Jules and Danny, and I don't expect you to give an honest answer to this, but like, let's at least do some reflecting here.
Yeah.
If the situation was different, if the shoe was on the other foot and you were in the vast majority at that swap tribe, how would you have handled it? Would you have tried to get Greg on side and flipped to use him as a number?
Look, probably not, but I think we would have handled it with a bit more grace than he did. We would have been at least keeping the door open there and having that as an option if we needed it later. Because, I mean, Greg, obviously you didn't realize it at the time, but if you had aligned with us and you could have made a move of your own, you would have made it a lot further. Now, obviously you were trusting in this core 7 that would have taken you there, and then a core 4 within that. So in your mind, you had your path set. So I can understand you being loyal to your group. But for us, we would have at least, I can't speak for Danny, but I assume she would have done the same. We would have at least kept that as an option, whether we were going to use it or not. We probably would have played it a bit more like Ash did. Maybe not to that level, but I think that's how we would have done it.
I would love to say the same thing. I do know how I treated like Leah when she came over in Sydney Survivor, which wasn't fabulous because I just didn't need her as a number. But it had been 3 months post that game. I had done some reflecting. So I'm not saying, yeah, like I said, I completely understand your position. I just didn't like it because I was on the other side of it.
T, you know what, Danny? I love that. That was real. Ash.
I'm a real bitch.
Yeah, we love that. That was some Greg level honesty there. So Ash, meanwhile, the girls are fighting. All right. The 3 of them, they are at it. And you are just sitting there, rubbing your hands together, having the best time ever.
It was so much fun.
Talk us through your game from the beginning. Who were the people you actually wanted to work with the most? Obviously, Christelle. I remember that. But who else did you feel like you wanted to play with long term? Because you had all the options.
I did, and I think on that very first night, I locked in with the 4 that like me, Greg, Mars, and Christelle. But then when I had a side chat with Evan. And locked in with him and Christelle. And I kind of wanted to ride that group out. It wasn't that, like, I still very much wanted to work with with Aaron and Nat if, like, the opportunity became apparent. But, like, at the same time, I think there was already, like, I don't know, just social cliques forming, and that kind of solidified for me that these people give me a lot of variance in like the information they can bring from different sides and different archetypes. Like Evan and Christelle can connect with different archetypes, and Mars and Greg can connect with different archetypes, and so can Aaron and Nat in their own way. But it was just like, yeah, social cliques bonded and formed, and I kind of just like, I'm such a fluid player that at the same time, like whenever an opportunity arose to work with people, like at the swap when Jules and I were captains, it was just like, all right, Jules, what are we going to do? Like, do you want to work together? And I think it was more like retold afterwards in the edit, but like, yeah, we had a quick chat and got like each other's number one, and it was just kind of, I was very fluid with who I wanted to work with throughout the game. But those were my like lock in from the start people, I would say.
You're kind of like the anti-orca, really. You're that, is it Moby Dick, where whoever like stabbed the whale with a spear? That's kind of your energy, really. You know, you're like, oh yeah, I'm here, I'm super nice.
That's exactly it.
Yeah,
That's exactly right.
Character. It's hard to watch.
So, yeah, okay, this is a good question here. Was Greg undyingly loyal to Ash, or was it to Mars? Because the bromance seemed very real. I have my own opinions on this, but Greg, would you like to answer?
I remember thinking that, yeah, like we were the four, and then within that it was like the boys. Like Ash was close with Christelle, and I was close with Mars. Like mutually, we were close. But then watching even the pre-swap, you guys never mentioned me at all in your confessionals. You was like, we're the two people that are the only ones that are smart and the only ones even thinking about the game. So that kind of annoyed me. But in my mind,
I think that like watching that back was really, really like icky for me. And I don't think like I stand by being like that. In the moment though, I think you just don't have a much of a perception of everyone else's like games. But at the same time, like the way we put it, I know we were working closely with you. I know we were like formulating strategy very tightly within that four. But yeah, I think just perception is reality, and I was very much in my own little schemey world at that point, making like plots and plans, thinking we were evil. And I think getting swapped together made me and Mars even like more kind of like solidify as a duo instead of like accounting for you, which was just a big oversight.
Hashtag justice for Greg. Ash, did you click with Evan and KK because you thought they were easier to beat, or did you assume you could beat them early on?
I think I decided that I really liked them as people, and I thought that they were going to be just like kind of more chill and relaxed as opposed to some of the bigger game players that were around at the time. So I wanted to lock in with them as like an alternate route to connect again with like the more introverted people. But I did think that as someone who can be more outspoken, when I like, obviously I was playing a bit of a character to kind of like work with all these different archetypes. But at the end of the day, I'm quite outspoken and I can speak my truth quite powerfully and honestly. So I did think I had quite a good shot going up against a more introverted person as opposed to a more extroverted, outspoken person.
Christelle was honestly a shining light on this season. We watched the premiere. Harry, currently on Australian Survivor Redemption, said Christelle was his favorite player of Uncharted Waters. And I remember being absolutely fuming. I had to be talked off a ledge. I was crying with rage when you were all very mean to her when we got to the jury segment.
I remember.
Yeah, that's a vivid memory for me afterwards. You having a me.
I have no memory of it.
I was putting food in a ladle and you just came at me. I was like, fuck.
You and Maddie P were visibly up.
Yeah. She didn't even want to be there.
From our perspective, or I can say from my perspective, like trying to work with her, like while Greg was still talking to us, at least giving us nothing, she wouldn't even talk to me. There was a couple of times where I'd go up to her and be like, hey, do you want to do something? Oh, yeah, but I'm not going to talk to you about it. I can only really talk to Ash about strategy. Ash, you had her on lock. And it was just so frustrating. So I think that's where some of that came from.
She's so beautiful and such like a kind human. And I remember
like every time she would come up to me, we'd just have like a moment of like, okay, what are we gonna do? Like, what are you feeling? And we'd have like a very honest conversation. And even though there'd be times when she'd be saying something that I just did not agree with, I'd just be the most validating force in that moment, because I know that like for someone getting out of their comfort zone and doing something like that, it's not going to be force that's ever going to get her to like sway my way. It's going to be like the, you know, being there and just being a grounding, supportive person. So, which is all very real, but like it was me playing into that to kind of like connect, and therefore we could have those conversations. And I'd walk away just being like, oh my God, Christella's going to vote for Evan. Are you kidding me? Like, I thought we were type 3. Like, what is going on? But then after a while, she'd kind of come around to something different. And it just, yeah, it was just a patience thing. But she's a beautiful human. And like, I felt so bad at Final Tribal Council. I think I was just in a processing zone myself. And I very much took it out on the final 2, because it was like 15 minutes between getting voted out and talking to them. So I was in a whole other world of emotions, but my bad. Very much my bad.
I was so confused, because I was just coming into it. I was like, okay, they're all going to be super fans. Who else is going to do this? And then Christelle's just like, I don't know anything. I've never even seen it. Like, I was like, is she playing me? Is this her? Like, and Mieta as well, to a lesser extent. I was like, what? How did you get here? Did you just stumble upon this island?
So let me address this. Lauren, she did want to be there. It was me being exaggerating for the drama. So here's the tea. If you've ever had to organize one of these seasons before, putting together an LRG, it's an absolute fucking nightmare. I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. It is years of fundraising, of organizing, of desperately finding women who are willing to play. Find women who haven't already played 3 times who are willing to play. And then you find them. You don't quite have gender parity. There's still more gay men on the season than there are women, but you're nearly there. And then it's 2 days out. And half those women will call you up and they will say, so sorry, I can't make it. I'm sick. And you know what? I'm compassionate. I understand. We weren't raised to put ourselves out there that way. And so that's when you have to go to the drawing board and you're like, does anyone have a sister? Does anyone have a friend of a friend of a friend? Does anyone have someone here on production who hasn't already read where all of the idols are going to be hidden yet because they're lazy with their admin? And at that point, you find literally anyone that you can put into the cast. And that is... and that is, she did want to be there, but she didn't know what she was signing up for, I think is the big one. She was like, sure, I'll come have a go. It's going to be a fun couple of days, making new friends, playing some challenges. And we fed her to the lion's den.
Oh, she froze.
Yes. So that was my little justice.
On that note, Ash being
yes.
one of my other theories, not theories, but opinions, is that it was unfair. Ash had a very unfair advantage. Not that knowing anything, but just like coming in so last minute, having played before. She's playing with house money. She's gonna try anything, nothing to lose. We're all here like this is, you know, Danny's come from Sydney and Ab's come from Queensland. We're all like, this is our one and only shot. Been thinking about this
played
for
before.
months.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying coming in, it's the combination of having played before and coming, not expecting to play, and then last minute you're called up, and then she's just, Ash, you were just like, oh, let me just try out this like crazy strategy of trying to manipulate every single person and make them think that I'm like. It was mentally. It was. I'm not saying.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Like, I'm not saying that she shouldn't have played or anything like that. But like, yeah, not knowing that now is like, okay.
Greg, let me push back a little bit. After playing Melbourne, I started playing orgs, and pretty much every org server I came into, Ash was a former winner and is widely considered one of the best to ever play. This is just who she is in these games.
I know.
In general.
No, I'm not
Her
saying
social
she's
aura
not
is just
talented.
next level. Like the
I'm not
skills Ash
saying that
has
she's
in these
not.
games is something you can't teach.
I'm not denying that.
No,
Becomes-
I'm just saying that like I think anyone else in that same situation doesn't do what she did.
Sure.
I guess though, like I do have an advantage having played. Like I was a part of the community for years prior, and like I think with that knowledge you get a natural understanding of how the game is formatted, like what you're looking for in terms of idols, like what things are going to come up. It's not like it is not really out of the question to say that I had some sort of advantage just from being around the community. But there's also like Aaron had played before, Adam had played before, Jules had played before in trials and things, Danny had played before. There's a lot of people who have played like before, and I'm probably missing a few. And then on top of that, you've got people who've played like online versions of Survivor. So they would have a bit of a knowledge of how to kind of socially navigate. Like, I'm not saying it's going to be like exactly the same. There's always going to be someone who can have more of an advantage, someone who has less of an advantage, depending on like who you are as well. But like you had full potential. And I'm not saying like, yeah, I do think everyone had the full potential to come into that game and play it however they wanted to. And it's just me who took it and was like, I want to make a cult and that's what I'm going to do. And so like, by all means, I hope that you get to play again. And I hope when you do, you formulate your own. But yeah, that's kind of like, I very much can see both sides of things.
I'm just saying, I also think like the thing of coming at the last minute, like not expecting to play and at the very last minute to win is something there where it's like you can just, you're free, you got nothing to lose even more than, do you know what I mean? Like it's just, I don't know, like if you're not female until like the very last second, I could say like, oh, I'll just throw shit at the wall and try something. Like think it's better, you know.
I mean, I still have an ego like everyone else. Everyone has
Yeah.
a bit of an ego that they want to protect. Like we're going out on camera. We're going to be like, this is going to be on YouTube for the rest of our lives. I can show my grandchildren this. I can show my children. Like, you know, it is something that you want to hold on to as a cherished memory. So like, I'm not downplaying that. Yes, I had nothing to lose in some respects, but like my ego was still very much in it. I had stuff to lose. If I had have gone out first or like gone out very early, I would have been just as hurt as anyone. And I think it is what it is. I definitely can see your point. I can see how I had less to lose having done this before and having played before, but yeah,
See, I don't know. Like, I feel like as a returner, you've got more to lose. You feel like you've got to come in and do better than what you had done previously. Like in my head, I was like, that was the reason for me crying at fucking merge. Like thinking that I was going to be the merge boot. I was like, I've just come from Sydney and been the merge boot for nothing I've done. Like this can't happen to me fucking again.
Yeah, I think
That's why I was crying.
It's the combination of having the advantage of playing before and the last minute not having that mental baggage
And not overthinking it. Yeah, I can understand that.
I can
also
see both
playing
sides of the
before
point here.
What's that, Annabel?
I think everyone is right. I think there is an undeniable advantage to having played a multi-day LRG before and coming back and doing it a second time. I also have seen people come back and play a multi-LRG game before, be picked up at the last minute, thrown in on the day, and be the first person out. I do think Ash had an advantage, but I also think that Ash was uniquely talented and uniquely good in this particular season. And it was from someone who had spent such a long time putting this together, a complete disaster as Ash had complete control over everyone and was turning it into a boring season.
I got those vibes afterwards too. I think as I got out of the game, like, yeah, great. Okay, let's pack this shit up. And I was like, oh no. Nice.
But unfortunately, you were all. I do think that it was still a fantastic season because you were all such big characters. So even though it was not a season of crazy blindsides, it was a season of crazies. And I think that combined with the absolute amazing cinematography and editing made this a really fantastic season.
Amen. Amen.
So on this theme of redemption, it's going around at the moment. What I want to know, what do you think was the most misunderstood aspect of your game? Whether that was by the people you were playing with or what you saw in yourself playing back in the episodes. And when you come back to play another time, what are you going to be doing differently to get that redemption? Let's start with you, Jules.
Ooh, well, watching it back, I think I've said this a few times on the podcast. I did not realize that I was Danny's little sidekick. I actually thought I was the main character and she was my sidekick, if I'm honest. Because I was the one with the aisle. I was the one getting in fights with Greg. I was the one finding the other advantages. So I'm like, yeah, this is my game. And then watching it back, I'm like, oh no, Danny's the main character. I'm the annoying little character actress on the side. So that's a big part of it. But I think in terms of playing differently, I was a little bit afraid of breaking the rules when I realized that unless I've explicitly been told not to do something, I can do it. Like after Ash and I had that conversation at the swap about like, hey, you pick up this person, I didn't even mention it in confessional because I was worried that I'd get in trouble for it because we weren't supposed to be talking. But in hindsight, I absolutely should have mentioned that in confessional. That was something I should have been talking about. At the challenge with the buckets and the pins, I was next to Tortuga's pins and I thought about like kicking the ball away from it and like goaling a little bit. And I'm like, why didn't I do that? I was worried I'd get in trouble for it. But again, I hadn't been told I couldn't do that. So little things like that I think I would do differently.
Love that. What about you, Danny?
I was surprised watching back post-merge being characterized as like sneaky and shifty when I was just like, I'm being as upfront as fucking possible here. What about anything I'm doing is sneaky and shifty? I'm just like, who wants to play with me? I'll play with anybody. Let's fucking like run with this. I was also, not surprised, but shocked at how bad my resting bitch face is. I was watching myself screaming at myself on the TV going, smile at somebody! Like, let them think that you like them rather than just nothing. So I will, if I was to play again, I'd just be like,
I'll take that apology now for you having got my resting bitch face.
I aligned with you regardless. So don't even worry about it.
Honestly,
But I was watching myself screaming at the TV going, smile! Something, acknowledge something someone's saying rather than like thinking in real time while they were talking to me. It was just a whole lot of nothing going on.
Danny's going to smile. And you know what? As someone with resting smug face, I would kill for resting bitch face. Resting smug face is even more unlikable. All right, Greg. Pure, sweet, did nothing wrong, Greg. Tell us. How are you misunderstood? How are you coming back for redemption?
I can't change, Annabel. You said it. I can't change anything about me. I've got... I'm cursed. No, as in, are you asking how would I change, like move, like specific moves I would do different, like how? Like...
Oh no.
If you're coming back then, how would you redeem yourself?
Yeah, you're coming back. Like I'm putting together redemption season. I'm not doing it without my hero, Greg. All right, you feel misunderstood. You've got an evil aura, but you've got a pure heart. How are you redeeming yourself in this new season?
I can try to be nicer to the people on the bottom if I find myself in numbers again. I can try. I don't know if I can do it though.
I don't
know.
I think
I thought I was being nice to Jules. I didn't know I was so bad.
At least
Greg is
you're
going to wear an earpiece and I'm going to feed him lines from the sideline. I think that's the only way we're going to get through this.
Lord.
Oh
my
I'm
Try.
being real. You know I'm being real to you. Anyone who I ever play with again, you know what I mean? Like, these are who I'm with, this is who I'm against. Like, I think that's a good, valuable ally, and that's why I think you should have kept me and not Evan.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
None of us could have seen that coming from Evan. None of us. Ash, what about you? Are you secretly actually just super honest?
I mean, yeah, I think if I was to come back, I would probably, I think one of the things that I don't give myself enough credit for is how layered of a person I am. And that all of the different characters that I played with, all of the different archetypes that I approached are very much part of me and are very authentic to who I am. But they're just like things I can tap into along the way. And so coming back, I think I would just have more of a nuanced appreciation for like all of those sides of me instead of just being like super schemy. And I do think watching it back, like I said to I think I very much appreciate how, like, you know, I was edited, and I don't know why, but for 3 years I had it built up in my head that I was just this evil, like, conniving bitch, and I was going to come in and just be nasty and all this. But, like, I do think I just, you know, over the last 3 years, I've grown a lot, and I've learned that I'm not one-sided. I'm very, very layered, and that is a superpower and not something to be, like, ashamed of. So, like, and seeing how people have responded afterwards, like, it's very nice to see other people can understand that about me. So it's about time that I start to appreciate that in myself. And so if I was to come back, I'd probably play a very different game. I don't think I could be as ruthless. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but I just don't think I could do it. I think I've grown a heart, okay? I've grown a heart over the last 3 years, and it's grown quite drastically.
Yeah, whatever. Ash is out first next time she goes.
Okay, I'm getting a fucking interview if I'm with Ash ever again. Go on.
Don't believe it. Whatever.
Gotta take it, because like I've driven some people through absolute hell with all of my like tomfoolery, so I've just got to take all my punishment now. And if I play with people again, I'm very much gonna be an early boot. But hey, I think it would be fun to play again together, don't you think, guys?
It would be fun to get redemption on app.
Look, we gave you the standing ovation for a reason. You played an absolutely amazing game, but I ain't letting you get anywhere again if I see you.
No. I think that might be the one thing the three of us can actually agree on, is that Ash will be the first to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God! Finally unified.
You're in the game.
You know what? Come to the tea party for the fights. Stay for the reconciliation. I do think, Ash, that I think you felt a pressure to play a character at the time, like to act up in confessionals that you were meaner than you really were. And I think your superpower was that you really did build authentic connections with people, and you really are someone who can build authentic connections with people. And I feel like maybe now you know, and I feel like that's a thing in the super fan community. Do you know what I mean? Like, we all are like, oh yeah, I was having this discussion the other night, how, you know, we feel like the best way to play the game, or the thing that people will respect us doing in the game, is being super schemy and like a bit of the that kind of a character, right? But I actually think that your superpower is in the fact that you aren't, and that so many people resonated with that.
Treat us with kindness, I think, is the best way to do it.
Absolutely.
Cool. The signs were there. She was wearing a Slytherin beanie and a Collingwood beanie.
Yeah, the Collingwood beanie should have been enough for me to get you
and
out right away.
Beanie. I didn't even realize that until watching it back.
I didn't even notice, but I would have been very happy about that.
Guys, the signs were there. I like.
She was
You're
giving
good.
us clues,
If you had have united in the game,
hiding in plain sight.
Look, she outplayed us all.
Honestly, the Collingwood
Outplayed
beanie was
us
kind of
all.
like, as much as it was a rival thing, it was something we had to talk about. So that was fine with me.
the amount of times I would just like throw out a comment and just be like, yeah, like obviously I want to vote you out because you go for Carlton, duh, like, and you just be like, yeah, I want to, yeah. Like,
You lied to me about. You were like, I don't even like footy. I'm just wear. It's just a beanie. I don't even like. You lied about stuff for no reason.
oh no, I'm a big Collingwood fan.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah,
found
great
that out.
comment. She leveled up, Brendan, from you, the only person who wanted to work with her, to an entire cast of allies who refused to turn on her. All right, baby girl is absolutely exhausted. I have had a hell of a 2026. So let's wrap this up with some positive vibes and do the Maxwell Johnson honorary question. Jules, what was the most fun you had during the season, and how has it changed your life for the better?
Well, this is where I'm going to get emotional and soppy. And yeah, Danny, you already know I'm going to talk about you. Like, it wasn't on camera, but the minute we bonded is the first night, the entire Nassau tribe was sitting around the fire, and Danny and I were sitting next to each other, and we couldn't scheme or plot because everyone was there. So we just talked about our lives, and we just found we are very similar people. And this is someone that I still talk to most days. We podcast together, one of my favorite people, and I'm just so glad that I've met a lot of great people during this experience, but my Scorpio dragon forever. So,
Danny.
I mean, ditto to all of that. That was like, I mean, a highlight of this season. It's given me the Orca Pod. It's given me this community, which has been incredible. A highlight for me, which there's not there's only a snippet of it shown in the episode. It's the episode after Greg is gone, and the celebration that Jules and I had, like behind the fence. We were ridiculous. Like I seriously thought that people were going to be like, because it was ridiculous, the celebration that we had, that we actually made something happen and we weren't gone again. That's like imprinted in my brain, and that's why we formed our alliance name, Scorpio Dragon.
So toxic. The pair of you were the true villains of the season, and I stand by that.
We're underdogs, so it's fine.
So, Greg, you might not have met your twin flame out there, unfortunately, but what was the most fun you have, and how has it changed your life?
Sorry. It's changed my life. It's just I've thought about it most days for the last 3.5 years. I watch a lot of Survivor, so I can't help but think about me in my one time that I've played. But no, it was the most intense thing I've ever done. I was shocked. I was emotionally, physically, I couldn't believe it. I didn't know that that's what it was going to be like. But the most fun was probably, the fight with Jules at Uncharted Waters was pretty fun. And,
yes, that was iconic.
Yeah.
We were just having fun.
Yeah, it was fun. That's what I said. And the time, just doing the Survivor things, and then no, I was just clearing my throat. But I'll say also the watching it back, and especially the premiere, was one of the highlights of my life, and especially having the survivors there. Annabel, did you bring them? Did you invite them? Thank you.
I did. Yeah.
That was really fun. To be able to be like, Harry, what did you think about me? And Karen, and that was incredible. Hopefully I'll be on the real show one day, but if not, this is the next best thing. But
I'm just going to jump in there and say you will definitely have more fun on an LRG. It is definitely a fairer experience. But yes, okay, that's so nice, Greg. I thought that you were going to say it hasn't changed my life at all. I kind of hated it. But maybe secretly Jules, Danny, Greg, you kind of love fighting with each other.
I think we really do love fighting with each other.
We're Scorpios. That's what we do.
Greg, what's your star sign?
Yeah, that's right. What's your star sign, Greg?
You want to guess? Do you want to try and guess?
I want you to tell me.
Okay,
You?
I'm a Leo.
Oh, I want to guess. I actually think that Greg is. I'm going to go with Pisces or Aquarius. No.
I'm going
I'm a
Libra.
Leo. No, I'm a Leo. Is
Okay,
that-
I wouldn't have seen that coming at all.
but
Do you know
I'm
what you have to do with-
I'm on the edge. I'm on the
Uh,
cusp.
Which way?
I think
Virgo
Cancer.
or Libra?
Isn't Cancer the one that's closest to me?
Mm.
I was born on the 24th of July, so,
Virgo or
Oh
Gemini?
yeah. Sorry, yeah.
so
Cancer.
I don't know what
There
that
you go.
means.
I mean, Cancerian
Yeah.
men.
I need your moon
I
and
do-
your rising.
Don't
Yeah,
don't
we'll
know.
do a full. We'll add Greg on co-star after this because honestly, Greg, if you ever want to get me on this podcast again, it'll be for the full deep psychoanalysis of Greg, and we can all unpack that one for 45 minutes. Ash, what do you think was the biggest misconception about you, and how will you be seeking your redemption? Oh no, I've already asked that question. Sorry, I'm exhausted. What was the most fun you had out there? How has it changed your life?
The most fun I had was probably the heist, to be honest. Like, the heist of the idol was so much fun to
So good.
hack and concoct, and like all of the the whole like moment of getting it and just having like Evan think that, oh, is that the, I don't know, it was just really funny. And in the moment it was just such a giggle trying to like get Evan away, because in my head I was filling out my drink bottle, I'd walked off from the group, I thought I was clear, and then Evan's like, can I come with you? And I was just like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? But like I was just in acting mode, so it was just a lot of fun, I think, to put on a bit of a show, and then to see Mars's reaction was pretty funny, not gonna lie. I mean, yes, it broke his heart, and I'm sorry that I stole his dreams, but yeah, it was a very fun time. And I think overall, like, I think every time you play a Survivor game, it changes your life in a little way. Like, every time you learn something new about yourself, you learn a new strength, a new weakness, a new area to improve, like all of the above. So I think this game has given me so much to reflect on that I'm still doing it 3.5 years later. Which is just a tribute to all of the stuff I learned about myself and all of the stuff that the people around me highlighted that I can continue to look back at and reflect on. And I think the people as well have just been unbelievably fun to meet and hang out with. And while I feel a little bit guilty for voting everyone out, and
No
You
guilt.
didn't vote
No
me
guilt
out,
to
it's
be
fine.
felt. Do it. That's the
just-
game. We know what we signed up for. Don't feel guilt.
I do love everyone, and I think it was one of like the coolest casts of people to have, and every single person on it was just absolutely amazing and showed up as their most authentic self, and I think that that's what made this game so beautiful.
Everyone was authentic except Ash.
Yeah, well,
She loved that we were all authentic, so she could just manipulate us.
I
No,
really
I
want to
think
go to bed, but
Ash was very authentic. She was just highlighting different elements of her actual personality.
All right. I want to go to bed, but I forgot the most important question. Orca pitches. So you don't have to pitch for yourself, but you assume you will. Orca, remind who should people vote for to be the Orca of the season? Let's remember the Orca criteria. Loud and proud. That means that you have to have rubbed somebody the wrong way in the first couple, within hours of starting. Strong arming strategy. That means you always know best. You have the best strategy and you're willing to plow down people to get there. And then criteria number 3, propensity for narcissism. You're there in confessionals, delusional about how amazing you are. You're talking yourself up at every opportunity you can get. Let's do reverse order this time. Let's start with Ash. Who are you pitching as Orca of the season?
I don't think I gave Orca. The only time that I actually thought that I had a chance to win was like the final episode. I think most of the time before that, even though like it looks like I had control of the game, like I have very deep inner anxieties that questioned everything. So I wasn't giving that as much in my confessional. However, one person who I would give Orca to in a heartbeat, and I would like to make a pitch for Hannah. She may have only been around briefly, but she had, God, I wish she was on my tribe. I just wish she was around because I would have loved to have met her. And I think even though we might have clashed, it would have been so much fun to get her Orca energy in my vicinity. So yeah, I'm pulling all chips in on Hannah, please and thank you.
Icon. All right, Greg, Orca pitch.
Just imagining a tribe with Ash, Hannah, Danny, and Jules as the 4 women.
Oh Lord! Oh my God! Oh.
I don't know if they'd work well together or not. I just, you're just, as you were naming the criteria, it's just hard to go past myself. Like, I just can't, like, the delusional stuff especially, right? And I was the target. Nat hated me at the start, so I had that. Rubbed someone the wrong way at the start. Didn't do anything. She just said I was standoffish. So,
Babes, you're delusional 4 years later. I think that's got to count for something.
Yes. And then the narcissism, I would say also, I've got. I don't think Jules has any of those categories covered.
Oh, I'm going to throw hands. Like,
I know. I don't think sidekicks can win the Orca.
oh, but in my head, I was the main character. That's all that matters. What's in up here? Doesn't matter what was on the screen.
I think it matters what's on the screen, actually, because that's it. The people voting are watching.
Enjoyed the drive-by on Jules there. Danny, Orca pitch.
Would I go reverse? Oh, me. That's right. I mean, bulldozing strategy. I literally threw away a chance to continue in the game because it didn't work for me. That particular, my very last vote were master. Like at every point, it had to work for me. It didn't have to work for anybody else. It had to work for myself. While I may not have rubbed anywhere the wrong way pre-merge, I definitely bulldozed that strategy because it was whoever I wanted went home pre-swap, pre-merge. And I just think I'm fantastic. So I'm pretty delusional that way.
Love that. Love that. Jules.
All right, I rubbed people the wrong way from day dot. Adam hated me. If you remember his confessional, he said something along the lines of, I want to get rid of that energy. He was talking about me. He didn't like me because I didn't remember him. So that's pretty Orca. And then obviously rubbed people the wrong way all day 2. Strong arming strategy. The argument with Greg at Uncharted Waters was my attempt to tell him, you want to work with me. Why don't you want to work with me? So there was some strong arming of strategy. The propensity for narcissism, well, that was already summed up a lot in this episode of the Tea Party. I thought I was running the show. I thought I was running the show pre-merge. I thought I was running the show post-merge. I was like, I'm sitting here with the idol. I can do whatever the fuck I want, and Danny's going to do what I say. She's on this tribe because I wanted her to be on this tribe with me. It was all up here. I am the Orca of the season. Like, if you don't vote for me, then what are you even doing?
Every confessional was, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. Like, you did not think.
Yeah, look, there was a lot that wasn't shown in my confessional. I was talking myself. I wasn't quite as loud and obnoxious as I am about it right now, but there was a lot of like, oh, I'm the biggest threat here, obviously.
Yeah, I will
there
say.
Was a lot of like, I'm going to sit down with Danny because I think I would beat her. Obviously, like I've done everything. She's just been.
One point I'll give.
Where is my confessional when that? Because I think Annabel asked me that too. Because I think they're trying to get us to turn on each other to just make it a little more spicy. And I was like, I'm not worried about Jules.
Yeah, we both thought we were.
I'll give 1 point for both of you. The way that you, after every vote or almost every scene, every episode there'd be a scene of you two patronizingly explaining to Evan and Mieta and Christelle and whoever, like, what they should be doing, how to play the game, what's in their best interest.
Bulldozing strategy.
Yes, well, I'll give you
I
that.
think I
That one I'll
repeatedly said to
definitely-
everyone, like, do you want to get to the end or do you want to win? And Christelle said, I want to make friends. And I was like, oh, okay, good. Yeah.
I love her. 4 very compelling pitches. Well done, everybody. I thought this was a great tea party. I thought there was plenty of conflict, but we kept it nice, you know, like, but authentic conflict, which I live for. And it was a real blast from the past. I can't believe it was 4 whole years ago. We had such a good time. Anyway, thank you everyone for joining us live, and for those watching after the fact, thank you so much for our 4 spices for keeping the tea hot tonight. Thank you to me, frankly, overcoming all the odds to actually show up.
Well done.
Nearly killed me.
Well done.
And CK, thank you for not downing an entire bottle of tequila before 7:30 p.m. on a school night. We can wrap it up.
All right, before we go, we're going to dance.